Psalm 62. This is a psalm of David. He says, "Truly my soul silently waits for God. From him comes my salvation. He is my only rock, my salvation. He is my defense. I shall not be greatly moved. How long will you attack a man? You shall be slain, all of you, like a leaning wall and a tottering fence. They only consult to cast him down from his high position. They delight in lies. They bless with their mouth, but they curse inwardly." Now remember David's life we studied in the months past. Remember what David went through. He spent a pretty large segment of his life with enemies, various enemies surrounding him and seeking to kill him. He wasn't speaking metaphorically and, we have these difficult times and, if we think about it metaphorically, we have enemies all around. No, he had people trying to kill him. He had enemies surrounding him. He says, "In God is my salvation and my glory. The rock of my strength and my refuge is in God. Trust in him at all times, you people. Pour out your heart before him. God is a refuge for us." Now, David knew about that refuge, and God had miraculously delivered him several times when he fought the lion and the bear, when he fought Goliath. In other times, when he was surrounded by Saul and he was able to escape. Other times, he had to get out of town. Remember when Absalom rose up against him? He had to sneak out of town because he couldn't stand before him. Yet he can say, "God is my salvation. God is my refuge. I will seek him." How can he say that? He says in verse 9, "Surely men of low degree are a vapor, and men of high degree are a lie. If they're weighed on the scales, they're altogether lighter than vapor." Man doesn't mean anything. "Do not trust in oppression, nor vainly hope in robbery. If riches increase, do not set your heart on them. God has spoken wise." God has spoken wise? Okay. "God has spoken once, twice I have heard this, that power belongs to God. Also to you, O Lord, belongs mercy. For you render to each one according to his work." God is our expectation. Verse 5 says, "For my expectation is from him." My expectation is from him. That's why David could say this. "My soul waits silently for God alone, for my expectation is from him." When you look at the situations around you and you put it all together, and you start putting expectations on what's going to happen in this situation, you may very well find that your expectation isn't going to be what happens. And now you're in that position like Proverbs says, hope deferred. Man, that's what I was hoping for. That's what I was seeing. This is what's going to happen. I've been praying to God about this very thing. And man, I really felt good about it. And man, I stepped out in faith on this, and I was expecting in my prayers that God would hear, and this is what would happen. I would find that man. I would find that woman. I would find that job. I would get led to that promotion. I would go here. I would go there. This is what would happen. And it doesn't happen. And what do you do then? Well, your heart gets sick. Hope deferred makes the heart sick. What happened? And we find, as you make your way back to 1 Kings, Elijah had some expectations of what might happen considering what had gone through in the last several years, in the last 3 years of his life. Consider it. Elijah's expectation, he's seen God's powerful hand over and over for 3 years. God's shown himself now to the whole nation of Israel. In front of the whole nation, a whole representation of the nation of Israel, God zaps this sacrifice when Elijah prays. Man, God is showing himself. Can you imagine if that happened down at Point Park in Pittsburgh, and we got the mayor, and we got the city council, and we got lots of people around, and we said, look, if God is God, then this is what he's going to do. Right now he's going to answer by fire. And fire comes down and consumes the point, and it's, the fountain's gone. It's all dried up. People will be going, whoa. I would be going, whoa. Right? He runs ahead of Ahab to Jezreel. And I think the reason that he ran ahead of Ahab to get to Jezreel was because he wanted to be there when Ahab told Jezebel what just happened. He wanted to see the look on Jezebel's face. When Ahab goes, you should have seen what God did. Man, it was awesome. Whoa. Oh, and by the way, you don't have to make as much dinner tonight because those 450 prophets who used to eat with you every night, well, they won't be coming. So there's Elijah. And look at verse 1 of chapter 19. It says, and Ahab told Jezebel all that Elijah had done, and also how he had executed all the prophets with the sword. Did you notice what it says there? It didn't say that Ahab said everything that God had done. It said, I got to tell you what this guy Elijah did. I got to tell you how he executed all the 450 prophets of Baal. I guarantee you, and if you look at the passage earlier, Elijah didn't do that by himself. The people gathered together and did this and got these 450 guys down to the brook and executed them. But he says, this guy Elijah, you can't believe what he did. I think Elijah was expecting Israel to return to the Lord. I think he was waiting for Jezebel to go, whoa, all right, your God is bigger than the God of my people. I will follow your God. I think he expected Ahab to have a changed heart after all this and go, man, God is God. He proved it. We better start following him. And instead, Ahab says, hey, this guy Elijah, he's a bad dude. Look at verse 2 and 3. It says, then Jezebel sent a messenger to Elijah saying, so let the gods do to me, and more also, if I do not make your life as the life of one of them by tomorrow at this time. And when he saw that, he arose and ran for his life, and went to Beersheba, which belongs to Judah, and left his servant there. There's something missing from this. It doesn't say the Lord told him to go down to Beersheba, does it? It doesn't say the Spirit of the... Right before that, it said the hand of the Lord was on him so he could outrun a chariot. Now, he hears this threat against his life. And instead of what he is expecting, this just amazing revival in Israel, instead, Jezebel says, your life is not worth anything. You're dead, Elijah. And he turns and runs for his life. And he runs down to Beersheba, which is in Judah. So he gets out of the country. But that's not far enough. He then goes another day's journey into the wilderness. Because basically, well, look at verse 4. It says, he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness and came and sat down under a broom tree or a juniper tree. And he prayed that he might die and said, it's enough. Now, Lord, take my life, for I am no better than my fathers. What happens when hope is deferred and the heart gets sick? Well, one of the first things that happen is you isolate yourself and give up. That's it. I can't do any more. That's it. He runs as far away as he can from danger, and then he cries out to the Lord, just kill me now. I'm no better than anybody else. What I expected didn't happen. You did this great thing, and man, they didn't repent. Just kill me now, Lord. Just kill me now. Have you ever been in that place?